to pay attention to what it is that you actually enjoy doing. Even if you don't think you can make money with it, even if you don't think that it's going to be profitable or lucrative, like just pay attention to what you enjoy doing. And then start looking at different industries and start looking at, different areas where you can plug in what you enjoy doing and what you're really good at into those different industries. I really love teaching, but I don't do well.
Hey there, welcome to the ASKFaris Show, and I'm so excited, I'm so elated to be interviewing Litisha Styles today. So Litisha, welcome to the ASKFaris Show, and I want you to first start off telling our audience a little bit about yourself and just kind of a little bit about your journey as well.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I always start off with, I guess, kind of where everything started for me. So I graduated into the Great Recession. It took me 11 months to find a job. In the meantime, I was, living at home with my parents. And I remember one day I was in the hallway on the way to the kitchen, and I happened to overhear my mom on the phone with a relative. Mm-hmm. And when someone's talking about you, so exactly. I started like tiptoeing in so she wouldn't hear me. And I heard her say, I don't know what Tisha's doing with her degree. She's got 2 degrees, but she's not doing anything with either one of them.
Wow. And
that was because I had first graduated with the Spanish degree, left college, went back to school for a finance degree. And, it took me 11 months to find a job.
Wow. So
at that point, when I heard that, I was really crushed because I knew that I had something to offer. I knew that I could, I could do something with the skill that I had. Mm-hmm. And so what I did was I went out and I started a blog, a personal finance blog, and I just started talking about finance, what I had learned in college and, from my own experience. And that led me to, basically learn how to run an online business. And then from there, I started helping other entrepreneurs to get their online business started.
Perfect. And I like, and that's the pretty sweet story right there. But I want to go back to the point of like when you were coming around that corner and you heard your mother actually say that, like, how did it make you feel, especially after I have done some great things, graduating from college and just pursuing the things that you were like what was your feeling right there in that moment?
Well, I was really frustrated. I was really down because I was already depressed at that point. And I don't know, depressed in the clinical sense, but I was really down. Mm-hmm. Because not only had I had taken the leap to go back to school. Mm-hmm. So when I graduated with my Spanish degree, I was working retail. I was working at restaurants, and I was already kind of down at that point, but I determined, I was like, okay, if I go back to college, then I'm going to be good. This time I'm just going to go for a better degree. Mm-hmm. And so after being out of school for about a year, I went back to college to get that finance degree. So when I heard her say that, it was really disheartening to me because I had already taken the leap to do something to better my life. Yes. And now here I was back, living with my parents, back where I didn't want to be. And not only did I have, another degree that I couldn't do anything with, but I also couldn't get hired. Mm-hmm. And so hearing that, it gave voice to what I was feeling inside.
Wow. And that's one thing a lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, like we see the entrepreneurs that are excelling, but the backstory, like the journey of it, people really don't understand that, hey, it takes a lot, not only just time and finances, but mental as well. You have to have that mental fortitude to go through and actually go through this, because I know my parents are really strong-willed and they say what's on their mind. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, you're like, oh my gosh, should I just take the easy way out and just go get that job, or should I take the easy way out and go get another degree? But you stuck it out and said, you know what? Hey, I have a skill set. And so we're going to jump right back on the skill set. How did you know that you had a skill set that you could go through and help out other business and inevitably monetize? How did you find out? Where did that knowledge come from that you knew you had a skill set that you can help other people out with?
Honestly, what it was is I I stopped looking outward to figure out who is going to help me, who is going, like, what college is going to like put this, degree on my head, who is going to, crown me as, this person that can do this thing. And it really was me just taking it on for myself and saying that, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started the blog, like, it really was just me searching and Googling stuff and looking for stuff and figuring it out as I went.
Wow.
And then when I finally got to the point where I started helping other business owners, it was that knowledge of, 4 or 5 years of building that, that blog and that online presence and that online business.
Mm-hmm.
It was taking those skills and showing them like, hey, I've learned this. I taught myself. I know how to do it, and I can help you as well.
And pause right there again, because one thing I picked up, you said 4 or 5 years, so it just didn't happen overnight. And I think so many times people think, well, the only thing I need to do is get a course, do this, and bam, 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 it's going to happen. So kind of just dispel that myth of anything just happening just like that.
Yeah, a lot of the research that I was doing, I was on all sorts of websites, and I kept seeing people making so much money. And my thought was, I'm not even going to need a job because I'm going to start making money in the next week or the next 2 weeks. And I remember, you always remember the first dollar you made online. Yes. I made $29. And I remember going to my sister. I was so excited because I was like, this is it. And I went to her and I was like, Carissa, I was like, I made $29. I made $29. And she was like, okay, good. She's like, well, now you can just do it again. And it took me several years to grow my audience, to build my platform as a millennial personal finance expert, to get featured, to be able to work with large brands. It took me several years in order to do that. And it wasn't anything overnight by any means.
Wow.
I didn't make my first dollar for the first several months, I believe.
Wow. And looking back now, I know you probably say, well, hey, it was good that I stuck it through. But I know so many entrepreneurs that they give it a time frame. Have you ever been that type of entrepreneur that said, you know what, I'm just going to give it one more time, or, hey, I'm going to give it one more month or 6 months? In just the realistic point of view.
Yeah, I'm a forever believer. So I honestly, like, I will fail 75 times and get up 76. Like, I truly believe in myself. I believe that I'm capable. I believe that if I just keep persevering and keep persisting, that I'll be able to do it. And if I can narrow my focus, if I can take action, right? And if I can narrow my focus, that I can succeed. And that's definitely what's happened.
And that's one thing, a narrow focus. And I know you probably follow a gentleman named John Lee Dumas. I know I listen to his podcast all the time, and he always breaks down the acronym for focus of following one course into success. And I know so many entrepreneurs, I'm going to raise my hand. I know initially starting out, I was trying to wear multiple hats, and I want to do this. And when I saw this come across the screen, I want to do that, and I can do this, and I can build this. But a focused person, a focused business is a business that will take off a little bit quicker than one that tries to do everything. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. A lot of what I learned over those 5 years was narrowing my focus. And at first, when I had first started, I was like, well, I help all young people. And then I had to narrow it down and say, well, I focus on young professionals, or, focus on millennials, and really get very specific. And now, even in the business that I have now, because I've sort of put aside doing the personal finance stuff. And now, especially what my audience wants is they want to be able to grow their own business. And they want to do some sort of consulting, and they want to do what I've been able to do. So even now, focusing in and saying, well, I work with only service-based entrepreneurs. I don't work with people who are creating a product. Just being very specific and being very focused has definitely helped.
Well, and we're going to take a quick 30-second break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about that, because one thing I always believe is 3 ways that you can go through and learn. You can learn through mistakes, which is costly. You can learn through modeling or mentorship. And I think that having a coach, having someone who has done what you desiring to do, to mentor you in a system that they can model, I think that's something that can definitely help entrepreneurs along the way. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to pick right back up where we left off.
The moon is out,
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back again. We're with Litisha Styles. She is, we just left off on mentorship, modeling, and mistakes. And we were just talking about the cost, it costs time, it costs finance if you want to go through and do things on your own, if you want to go through and take the long road out. But mentorship and modeling is key. So Litisha, I want to go through and talk about that a little bit more as well, because I know with your business, you're coaching individuals. And again, it took you've been doing this for how many years, Litisha?
I've been running an online business, for 7-8 years now.
7-8 years. 7-8 years. So now one thing I look at that's a long time, especially in the online world. That's like a long time right there. So one thing is you've made the costly mistakes. I know that everybody has done that. But now, when did you think that, you know what, it's about time for me to go through and start investing in myself? It's about time for me to find a mentor, it's about time to start modeling some systems. So when did that aha moment come in for you?
So honestly, it was when I decided to make the shift and the pivot from going from, personal finance, and I started getting people asking me. I knew that I could, learn my way forward, and I could kind of fall forward into learning how to get clients and how to, how to find people and how to package what I offered. And I knew I could Google my way through it. Yeah. But instead of doing that, I decided that I wanted to do it the fast way. So that was when I hired my first mentor. I started getting some very targeted courses on specific skill sets that I needed. And I started working with the people who were where I wanted to be in terms of mindset, as well as financially speaking. And that's when I realized that, I couldn't just learn. I didn't want to just learn my way forward. And in a year, like less than a year, I've been able to build a coaching and consulting business that's a full-time income.
Wow.
And, something that I've been able to do because I stopped to ask for help.
Wow. You stopped to ask for help. It's like, I know a lot of times, especially males, I know we're bad at this. We'll get in the car. We won't ask for directions. We'll just kind of feel our way through. And that's a good parallel right there, because if I want to go to New York City, I just know driving north, I'll eventually get there, coming from Georgia. But I know if I had a GPS, if I had a roadmap to get there, I know I'll get there a little bit quicker, and I'll probably save a lot more money on gas and time as well. And that's why it's so important to go through and have that mentor as well. And so investing in yourself, how valuable, like what would you recommend, especially for a new entrepreneur, would you recommend that they go through and make a lot of mistakes up front? Or would you, if you had to do it all over again, if you had to start off from knowing everything you know now, if you start over today, how soon would you have invested in yourself?
I think the first thing that I would have done is I would have gotten really clear on exactly what I wanted to do, and I would have tested it out first. Mm-hmm. So for example, that's essentially what I did was I said, okay, I want to start working with clients. So I'm going to take on my first client for free. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see if that's exactly what I want to do, if that's how I want to structure it. And then once I had worked with that client for free, I was like, wow, I love this. I'm really good at it. They got great results. All right, now it's time to expand this. That's when I hired my coach. So I know that there's a lot of, people who are kind of just getting started. And I don't think that that's the best time to hire someone, because you don't know what you need their help for. And so you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. It would be like, buying a hammer before you have a nail and a board. Yes. Like the hammer is great, right? But you don't have a nail or a board to even use those with. So like you're just walking around with a hammer.
Exactly.
So you've got to wait until you get that board and you get that nail first, and then the hammer makes sense.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because I think so many times that's when they just start investing. Like people think just because some people, they just invest in courses and courses and courses just to say that, I'm getting the knowledge. But if you have no focus, you just have a lot of stuff that you can put on your bookshelf, or a lot of stuff that you have that's running around that you'll never get started on. So I think that's key as well. But let's to go through and narrow down even more as a coach, and you're a coach, and you've actually coached many people in different industries, especially on the skill set that you're teaching them. As a coach, what are some things that a coach can actually teach a team, or a coach can actually, what's the benefit of actually having a coach on your side?
I think one of the biggest benefits is knowing, like, with the GPS example, like exactly how to get to that destination. But for me, it was really, I wanted to avoid all of the pitfalls.
Wow.
So for that person who's already been to where I wanted to go, I wanted to say, okay, what would you have done differently, knowing what you know now? And getting that getting that feedback and getting into their brain and them saying, well, I did this, but you know what? That actually doesn't work. It didn't work for me. I wouldn't do that now. So you should skip that. Mm-hmm. And so what may have taken them a year to do, now I can do it in, a month or 2 months or 3 months, simply because I don't have to waste all the time that they wasted, mm-hmm. what they learned from. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits to hiring a coach.
Wow. That's beautiful, 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 beautiful. And one thing before we wrap it up, one thing I want to know, it's graduation season. It's graduation season. I know you said you went to college. I've been to college, went to college. You have a couple degrees as well. What advice would you give to a young high school graduate or college graduate? It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's pursuing college or et cetera. What's one piece of advice that you give to them, especially being in your shoes now?
I would say continue to pay attention to what it is that you actually enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't think you can make money with it, even if you don't think that it's going to be profitable or lucrative, just pay attention to what you enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. And then start looking at different industries and start looking at, different areas where you can plug in what you enjoy doing and what you're really good at into those different industries. Mm-hmm. I really love teaching, mm-hmm. But I don't do well as a teacher working with kids because, that's not necessarily my skill set. My skill set is working with, someone who is a little bit older and they know exactly what they want to do. Mm-hmm. But if you figure out exactly what it is that you're good at, and then just start looking for those industries, even if it may not pay the best, right? Figure that out, because it's not always about the money. It's really about enjoying what you do, being really good at what you do, and mastering your skill. Because once you master your skill, the whole world opens up to you. You can leave whatever situation you're in, mm-hmm. and you can start offering that skill for however much you want to charge, because exactly. Now you're in control because you've mastered that skill. So you've got to figure out what you're good at, start looking at those industries, get your experience, mm-hmm. and then take that skill. And if you want, take it on to another company or take it to work for yourself in your own company. Wow.
Beautiful words for the graduate, for the college graduate, high school graduate, or someone who's actually trying to go through and pursue that next level, because I think that is so important. It's so important. I think my mother always said, just like an 18-wheeler has 18 wheels on the truck. And if you can travel up and down the highway, I don't know if you've seen an 18-wheeler have a blowout. If they have a blowout on the trailer, they can keep going. And I think so many times, especially in this economy, people are just kind of depending on one stream of income or one resource. And then if something happens to it, it's the whole life actually goes in shambles as well. So it's so important for you to go through and discover your skill. It's a discovery process, and the sooner you discover what skill set that you enjoy, you love, then you can begin to master it. Then you can begin to live a happier life in which you can go through and follow your path as well. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. And second of all, I definitely want to go through, before we leave, I want you to go through and actually talk to the individuals that may be able to utilize your services, because I think you do such a phenomenal job. I love your YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, it's educational, it's entertaining. I love it. I didn't even know you can dance, but yeah. So I love your YouTube channel. I love the thing that you're doing as well. But talk to the individuals that actually could utilize your service right now.
Yeah, sure. So I primarily work with service-based entrepreneurs who are offering some sort of consulting, done-for-you service, or some sort of coaching, a done-with-you service. And I help you figure out how to gain more clients. So what I do is I come in and we use the online business model, which is I really, really love. Uh-huh. And we put together a process where someone will find you, will yes. easily get to know you, and then will ultimately contact you and want to book a call and ultimately book your service. So that's exactly what I do for my clients. On average, when working with me, my clients are able to gain more clients in about 6 weeks. Wow. And it's because of the systems and things that we put in place.
Wow. That's and I've seen it in action. Oh my gosh, I'm just so amazed. I'm not surprised, because I see a lot of the work that you put in on the back end, and I want to celebrate your success, and I want to encourage any individual, especially service-based individuals, if you're trying to scale your business, if you're trying to go through and reach more individuals within your demographic, you have to reach out to her. And so, Litisha, how can they reach out to you? What are some ways that they can contact you?
Well, I'm most active on Facebook. So if you want to find me on Facebook, I'm there. It's just Litisha Styles. And then you can also find me at litishastyles.com, which is my website, and everything else is there.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Beautiful. Well, again, we just want to thank you so much for coming on our show. We want to thank you so much for just giving the words of encouragement for those graduates that are coming out of high school and those individuals that are seeking to go through and grow their business as well. So, Litisha, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we look forward to having you back really soon. All right.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Hey, take care. Bye.